What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys the #1 tool to help cure your target panic. All right, everybody, so the #1 tool that you can use to beat target panic is going to be a tension activated release. I have one here. It is the stand element release. So it's right there. And how this release works is it's off of tension. So it's not a hinge where you rotate it or anything. It is based off actual tension. So what you're gonna do is you're going to pull back and you're just gonna pull. So you just pull back into your back wall. And once it reaches a certain weight, it is going to fire. So you might be wondering, well, how do I get over my peak weight? So how you do that is all these releases have a safety. And if you guys can see it here, right here, you see that little slop in the release? So you're gonna hold that down. That's the safety on this release. So you're going to hold that down and then pull back. And so when you have that down, there's no way it can fire because the release is locked basically. So you do that, and then once you get into your back wall, then you let off the safety. I put my thumb behind the trigger, so it's just how I like it, but some guys, they'll just hover their finger over the trigger. You can do either one. So one thing to note about this release that I didn't know when I first got it is if you push this forward, it will open. So that is how you load the release. So after you shoot, say the release is like that, you push forward and it loads it, and then it's ready to fire. But when I got this release, the thumb barrel was pretty far back, and so I was basically just pushing on it, and I wasn't really pushing back or forward or anything. And on my first few shots, I accidentally pushed forward and the release fired, and I lost one of the brand new arrows that I just built in my last video. So now I have gotten wiser and I don't use my expensive arrows for just in the yard, and I'm actually going to be getting some just for target and 3D shooting, so I'm not afraid to lose them. Anyways, that's a little sidetracked, but that is the functions of this release. And one other thing is, obviously not all bows have the same holding weight. So to adjust that is this Allen wrench here, and you're just going to turn it clockwise to make it colder or make it harder for it to break. So you're gonna have to pull harder in your back wall, or you just turn it counterclockwise, does the opposite. So these releases also have a thing, it's called a trigger lock, and it is a little pin that stores in the thumb barrel. And I actually already lost mine. I don't know, it fell out somewhere and I'm not sure where it is, so I'll have to order another one. But they're like $5 on Lancaster, so it's not a huge deal. But what you do is you unscrew that little peg from the thumb barrel, and you're gonna put it into the, I don't know what you'd call it, the neck of the release. It's that little hole right there. You just screw it in. What that does is it locks the jaws of the release so it can't open. So what you can do is then really you don't have to hold the safety when you pull back. But what you do is you can replicate your whole shot sequence, but the bow will not go off. So right now I could pull back and I could, come to my anchor and let go of the safety and pull, and all I would hear is a click. So that's a cool feature. What a lot of guys use it for is hunting. They can just practice on a deer. If a little fork horn comes by or a doe or something that they don't want to shoot, they can just pull back and just practice and see how much they can get away with. And it's really good training. And sometimes other professional archers will shoot a whole round with that pin in and just hear click and then let down, and just hear click and let down. And that really helps to stop any pre-ignition movements when you shoot, so you're not jerking before you shoot or anything like that. That's more specific to a thumb button, is the jerking before you shoot, and sometimes a hinge. But this release, you can't really do that. And I mean, you can just like yank at it, but your results are not good at all. So it's good negative reinforcement. So now how I beat target panic with this release. What I did is I took my sight off my bow and I blank bailed 50 to 100 arrows a day for 7 days at like 3 yards. And what that did was it ingrained that shot sequence in my mind. So once you shoot for 7 days at least, you guys, you cannot skip out on this process. If you don't blank bail and you just go to 20 yards and you just start shooting with this release, it's not gonna be good. So I really recommend going and blank bailing. And that really helped it for me, because now if I do ever command the shot, it just feels really weird, because you're basically relearning how to shoot a bow, because it's a complete different way, and it's all mental. Target panic is all mental. So I would highly recommend watching John Dudley's School of Knock, his latest one. Those tips and pointers in his videos really helped me. So once you blank bail for a week, you're going to put your sight back on and you're going to shoot 1 arrow at a time at, say, either 5 to 10 yards. I won't go farther than 10 yards to start, and aim at a circle, you know, probably that big, or really just any circle that your pin won't move out of, because that's a lot of times how target panic is developed. So you're going to shoot that 1 arrow. So I would recommend shooting at least 30 shots, and 30 good shots. If you make a bad shot, either reshoot it or go back to blank bailing, or, you know, usually if I made a bad shot, I would do 2 good shots in place of that bad shot. So if you're not feeling good and you're starting to yank this trigger, go back to blank bailing. Blank bail is extremely important. So then once you shoot your 30 arrows, you're gonna come back the next day, move a yard back, and just keep moving back to 20 yards. And if stuff starts to feel bad again and you're starting to get some anticipation of the shot, go back to blank bailing, and just don't rush the process. Right now, I've been shooting at 15 yards for the past like 2 days. So I'm not 100% there yet, but things are feeling really good. And I plan to just keep working back, just like I said. So that should get rid of your target panic. So I'll go ahead and shoot an arrow for you guys, just so you can see sort of how this release works and sort of my shot process with it. You're gonna load an arrow, then you're going to push forward on this thumb barrel, like that. That is going to set the release and be ready to fire. So then you're going to hold down the safety and pull back. To pull back, come to anchor, let off the safety, and pull. Oh, see, that was a little bit of a long hold, but still is in the white of that circle. I'll shoot another one for you guys, and this time I'll zoom it up close. Again, load the release, hook it on your D-loop, hold the safety, let off the safety, and pull. There we go. So one other thing before you start shooting with your sight back on, you're going to shoot 10 arrows every day, blank bail, as a warm-up, just to remember that shot again. So one tip for getting the tension of this release set right before you shoot, so you don't just go out and punch yourself in the face, is to put that pin, the lock, into the release, and then draw back and let off the safety just as you're gonna shoot, and see if it clicks right when you let it off. If so, then you're gonna tighten the screw clockwise. If it takes a lot to pull before it clicks, then you're gonna obviously take a turn or 2 out of the release. That's just a little tip, so you don't go punch yourself in the face. So I'm going to go and shoot my 30 arrows for the day. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this helps, and I'll see you guys on the next one.